Your 10-year warranty is really a 5-year warranty, and the clock to fix that ran out before the installer's truck left your driveway. That's number 7 on this list. Because the headline on the brochure, the one that made you feel protected, was a base of 5 years that only doubles to 10 if somebody registers it online inside a window most people never even hear about. And that window is brutally specific. With Carrier, Bryant, and York, you get 90 days. With Trane, Lennox, Goodman, Daikin, and most of the rest, you get 60. Miss it, and the back half of your coverage quietly evaporates. Now, you've probably seen the number that 70% of homeowners void their warranty this exact way. But I'm not going to repeat that one, because nobody can actually source it. Here's what we can prove instead. Across consumer products, only about 28% of Americans ever register the thing they bought. So even if FAQ lands anywhere close to that, the math says most homeowners are sitting on 5 years thinking they've got 10. That's not a missed deadline. That's a designed one. So we're counting down the 7 traps written into that fine print, the ones that turn a 10-year promise into a maybe, plus the moves that actually flip every one of them back in your favor. Number 6 is the trap that empties your wallet even when the warranty works. You finally get a part covered, you feel vindicated, and then the bill shows up anyway. Because every standard manufacturer warranty covers parts only, not labor. And labor, according to the contractors who actually do the swap, runs 40 to 60% of the repair. A compressor replacement is 4 to 8 hours of work at over $100 an hour. So, the part ships free, sure, but the $800 of labor to install it is all yours. And there's still a service fee just to get a technician into your driveway. Number 5 hides inside the word covered. These warranties cover functional parts, and the list of what isn't functional is where they get you. The refrigerant line set, the copper running through your walls, the refrigerant itself, the thermostat, the filters, the fuses, the drain line, all excluded. And here's the cruel part. The joints, the line set, and the corroded coil are exactly where leaks tend to start, according to the techs who chase them down. So the component most likely to fail is the one they wrote out of the contract. Funny how that works. And notice something while we're here. That 60-day window, the parts-only rule, the identical exclusions. They show up almost word for word across brands that look like fierce rivals on the showroom floor. But they're not rivals. And Carrier owns Bryant, Payne, and Day and Night, while Trane and American Standard are the same unit wearing a different badge. And Daikin owns Goodman and Amana. 3 logos, 1 playbook. Number 4 turns your own forgetfulness into their escape hatch. The warranty requires annual maintenance by a licensed contractor, and it requires you to prove it happened. And Daikin's lifetime heat exchanger coverage spells this out. The unit has to be serviced every year with records kept. So picture year 8. Your compressor dies, you file the claim, and they ask you for the maintenance receipt from year 3. You don't have it. Claim denied. One missed tune-up rarely auto-voids anything, but a thin paper trail hands them every reason they need. Number 3 is denied before you even file it. The warranty requires a matched system, an indoor coil and an outdoor unit certified to run together, what the industry calls the AHRI certificate. Mismatch the two, and coverage can be void from day one. And here's why that should bother you. When a contractor is racing to hit a price, pairing a bargain coil with a premium condenser is exactly how he shaves a few $100s off the quote. You'd never see it, but the manufacturer would, the second you tried to claim. Number 2 is the loophole with your installer's name written all over it. Read Carrier's actual certificate and you'll find failures excluded for faulty installation. For power surges, for blown fuses, for floods, for lightning, even for what they politely call corrosive environments. Improper installation is the single most common denial reason in the entire business. And think about who controls that install. Not you. You met that crew an hour ago. You wrote a $12,000 check on faith, and their mistake quietly becomes your denied claim. And number 1 is the trap that's already sprung on the house you might be about to buy. That enhanced 10-year coverage, it belongs to the original owner. Sell the house, and it usually collapses back to the base 5 years, if it transfers at all. So buy a 3-year-old home with a 10-year system, and you may have just inherited a 2-year warranty nobody told you was a stub. But say everything lines up, and they do honor the claim. They don't send you a check. They ship your contractor a part. And that replacement part is only warranted for the time left on the original clock. It doesn't restart. It never restarts. Now, one honest caveat, because some of you are already typing it in the comments. If you're in California, in Quebec, or in Florida for systems installed after July 1st, 2024, the law now bans tying your warranty term to registration at all. So check your own state before you panic. But the point of all this was never to scare you out of buying a system. It's that not one of these traps has to touch you, if you know they're there before the installer ever rings the doorbell. So here's how you flip every single one of them. First, register it yourself the day it goes in, and never assume the dealer did it for you. Find your brand's window, 60 days or 90, then use the manufacturer's serial number lookup to confirm the registration actually posted. The honest catch, those tools can be clunky, and you might have to call to verify. Do it anyway. Second, build a binder before you ever need it. The invoice with both model and serial numbers, the registration email, the permit, and every single maintenance receipt. It's tedious, I get it. But that boring little folder is the whole difference between an approved claim and a polite no in year 9. Third, demand the matched system certificate at install and check the number yourself in the free public directory. It costs you nothing, and it kills the mismatch denial before it can ever happen. The caveat: a good contractor won't blink at that request. If yours does, well, that tells you something too. Fourth, do the labor math. Since the factory never covers labor, and labor is half of any real repair, a separate labor plan can genuinely be worth it. But only if it's backed by a real insurer or administrator, not some one-truck operation self-insuring, because that promise is worthless the day he shuts down. If it were my money, I'd read exactly who stands behind that plan before paying a cent for it. So the warranty itself was never the protection. The paperwork you keep is the protection. The registration you confirm is the protection. You can't control the contractor standing in your living room, but you can absolutely control whether his mistakes or your missing receipts ever get the chance to deny you. That's the entire game. And yes, I just spent 8 minutes telling you the contract you trusted is mostly a list of polite ways not to pay you. The strange part is, the equipment itself is rarely the thing that fails you. The install almost always is. YouTube thinks you'll like one of the 2 videos on your screen right now. So click one. And if you made it all the way to the end, subscribe.